I am out and about in Barcelona. I went to the pub to watch the game. I thought it was going to be one of the worst experiences ever, but turns out that it was actually okay, the result at least, because the performance, guys, not so much. These were two teams that showed that they were extremely fragile. The first half chance that Barcelona conceded, they conceded a goal. Then obviously the one time that really Barcelona upped the tempo a little bit, you know, they really put us under pressure. Rahmani, guys, what was he doing for that Lewandowski goal? Just like last week, whenever he steps out of the back four line, he leaves a huge hole in between himself and Di Lorenzo, and it exposes everybody because Juan Jesus is not quick enough to react to that. Di Lorenzo as well has his own problems down the flank, and that causes Napoli to concede a goal, and obviously you can't allow Lewandowski that kind of a chance. But what I did see was a Napoli that slowly but surely, even though we still played bad, slowly but surely picked up confidence, picked up some momentum. And if you compare the second half to the start, the first 20 minutes of the first half, you can see that there was massive improvements. Yes, the team lacks cohesion. I agree with you in the chat, but you could tell that there was at least some kind of improvement. Guys, the first 5 minutes, I thought we were going to concede 4 or 5 goals. We couldn't touch the ball in the first 4 minutes. And I'm telling you, if this game lasted another 20 minutes, it would have been more likely for Napoli to score than Barcelona. Overall, the result, guys, we can be happy that it's 1-1. It's not ideal. I think in the last 10 minutes, if we had scored a goal, you know, that was really our chance to qualify. I don't think personally this 1-1 is enough to see Napoli qualify to the next round. I think we'll have a hard time here in Barcelona in the return leg, but at least the dream lives on, and that's what really we can, that's the most that we can really expect from a team that has just changed their coach. What I really liked about Calzona is the fact that at least he was brave enough to change players. You might not agree with the substitution. I certainly was very shocked to see Kvara get substituted, Osimhen get substituted after his goal. But you can't fault the bravery of the coach. The coach showed that he wants to give minutes to guys like Lindstrom, and Traore came on, did actually pretty well. I think he did much better than Cayuste did. And hopefully this is a sign that guys like Lindstrom can get a bit more time. And he came on and did really well. And I think right now, what this team needs is that they need to feel like a team again. And so even substituting guys like Kvara, like Osimhen, that raises the morale of the substitutes, of the bench. And that's super important, guys. Super important to have everybody backing the manager. I'm sure Kvara and Osimhen will not be happy with those substitutions, but it's extremely important for this team to feel like a team again of 23 players and not just the top 11. Guys, Barcelona today was, you know, a very beatable team, in my opinion. They relied a lot on Frankie de Jong, especially to come out of the pressure, and we were a bit too shy to put pressure on them. I think we could have hurt them more, but again, we take this, and in 3 weeks' time, let's see, because in 3 weeks' time, let's just face it, guys, Barcelona is going to be the team with the pressure. They're going to be playing at home. Xavi will have all to play for, and we go there as the underdogs. If we win, well, that's going to be a massive achievement. But if we get knocked out, it's expected. Whereas Xavi and the whole Barcelona team will have their whole entire season on the line here. Xavi's legacy will be on the line, and that's gonna be massive pressure for them, and it's a pressure that they showed today that they can't handle. So even though I don't give us as many chances, to qualify as Barcelona, I still think that it's somewhat open, and we could take advantage. And let's take a little bit of confidence out of this result, because the performance, I agree with you guys, it wasn't there, but a 1-1, that's better than I expected, especially seeing how the first few minutes turned out. Let me read some of your comments, guys. There's a lot of you that joined this live. I know it's a bit of a strange one because I'm outside, I'm out in the wild. You guys know that I live here in Barcelona, so I wanted to experience this game being surrounded by Barcelona fans. And tell you what, when Osimhen scored, that was a nice feeling. Temeto is saying, Cayuste is shit. What the F is he doing on the team? Yeah, you could tell that when Traore came on, he made a bigger impact than Cayuste. These are games that are just not for Cayuste. This is not his level. He was a very average player back in France. Over the last 6 months, he didn't develop hardly enough in the Serie A to show us that he deserves a starting 11 spot. But unfortunately, Traore is not ready yet to play the full 90 minutes. But it showed that he does have a bit more class. Cayuste had that one half good game against Union Berlin, and then that's about it. He really failed to impress this season. But again, it's hard to make judgments today. There was a new manager. It was a huge game. Lots going on. I think we will have a better idea of judging these players with the new manager in the new system when we face Barcelona and expect with Rahmani and Juan Jesus. We can talk bad about Juan Jesus all you guys want, but actually he is someone that is super smart. Unlike Rahmani, who steps out of his line to catch butterflies, Juan Jesus, as much as we criticize him, he did things the right way. Whenever he stepped out, he got the ball. If he didn't get the ball, he got the man, which is the next best thing, because it's better to foul someone and stop the play than to let the game go forward but you're out of position. So he has that kind of awareness that Rahmani doesn't have. And I think also the way that we fouled Barcelona players today was quite smart. It was very tactical fouls. They weren't mean, they weren't aggressive. They were just enough so that we didn't get yellow cards, but enough that it would stop Barcelona, which is something that I haven't seen from Napoli in recent months. We've always either been too aggressive or too soft when we made fouls. Zevdan is saying in the first, yeah, we were really bad in the first half, but you could tell that after the 20th minute, after the 16th minute actually, is when I said to my friends, I said, guys, the longer this game goes on, the more Napoli is going to get confidence. The first 2 minutes, look, if Barca scored in the first 10 minutes, it would have finished 5-0. I'm confident about that. It would have rocked our confidence, but the fact that we kept it together until the 15th minute, we realized, okay, we can actually compete against this team. Maybe we have a chance. And even when Barcelona scored, guys, we had the courage to attack them. We had the lucidity to attack them. And then obviously we have a phenomenal striker such as Victor Osimhen, who he didn't have a good game until that goal, but you know that he's not going to miss 3 chances, right? He's gonna eventually put the ball in the back of the net. You just need to give him something to fight for, and that's what he did. There were other times where he was caught offside. I guess that's because he hasn't played with this group of players for 2 months, so he's not really used to maybe their movements and the way the ball flows. And to be honest, it's hard to predict how this ball flows with this team, because let's face it, it's all very much random. It's not like anything's prepared nowadays. But for that second half goal, he was in the right place, in the right time, used his body really well in the second half, drew lots of fouls, did well to be his man in defense, and showed his level in the second half, guys. Yeah, the subs made the difference. Anguissa is coming back. Anguissa played a very good second half. I wish Anguissa was a bit more consistent over the 90 minutes. I mean, you could say this about a lot of the Napoli players, but Anguissa had a very good second half, really looked super inspired. I wonder if part of the way that he plays is the fact that he understands in his mind that the game is 90 minutes long, it's a marathon, and maybe at times it seems like he's sort of managing his energy. And then when he realizes in the last 20 minutes that he's actually got enough to get him through to the end of the player a bit more tired, and he is much more efficient in the last 20 minutes, I find, in most games. But yeah, a lot of you guys wanted the win. A lot of you guys are commenting why Kvara, Osimhen were out. I mentioned it. I think it's super important for the coach to come in the first game and take off. Have the courage to take off Kvara and Osimhen and still get a result. Because first of all, it shows that he cares about everybody in the team. That he's not going to rely on just two players. If he had kept Osimhen and Kvara, maybe we would have done better. I don't know. Maybe we would have scored more goals. But the message that he sent to the team is that this is a group of 23 players. I believe in all of you. I think all of you can make the difference. I believe in Lindstrom. I believe in Simeone and all this. And that's what you need. This Napoli team needs coming together as a team. We can't keep relying on one or two people. And as much as I was shocked, as well as you guys, about the substitution, in the end, I kind of understand it, that it's more of a substitution about sending some kind of message than anything else. And honestly, I don't think that it made that much of a difference to the scoreline. I think it would have probably still finished 1-1. So let's see. And in fact, Napoli scored when Kvara was subbed off. So actually, you could say that he had a good intuition there to bring on Lindstrom and Traore. Let's go to some more comments, guys. I'm almost on my way home. I think I'm just gonna do a player rating. So I'm gonna give Meret an 8 out of 10. I want everybody to record this because you guys always say I criticize him a lot. But you know, credit where credit is due. I think it was a brave choice to put him instead of Golini in goal. But Meret really saved Napoli a lot in the first half. Yeah, he had a bit of a shaky moment in the second half with that shot that came from distance from Pedri. But in the end, he did really well in the first half. So for me, 8 out of 10. He really kept us in the game. Did everything he could. And then for the goal, there's nothing he could have done, honestly. I'm going to give Di Lorenzo a 6.5. He did the minimum. There were some moments that he suffered, that he got beat in the dribble. But overall, he did okay against pretty tough opposition. Oliveira, 7. Against Yamal, Barcelona's best player at the moment. He covered him pretty well. Yamal didn't have any opportunities to score. He was attentive with his headers. And yeah, so 7 out of 10 for him. Then the two center backs, Juan Jesus, I'll give him a 7 as well. Pretty attentive. A few tactical fouls in the middle, which were actually very useful. Didn't get a yellow card. I think he made life pretty difficult for the Barcelona, both forwards and midfield. I'm going to give Rahmani a 4.5 because that was a shocking decision to come out of his back four line for the Lewandowski goal, left a huge gap, and that's how Lewandowski scored. Then we go to the midfield. I'm going to give Cayuste a 5. Really shows that this is not his level, and I think it's not even worth waiting for him next year. I think if Napoli can get rid of him, that would be better. Then we can go to Anguissa. Anguissa 6.5, much better in the second half. We talked about it. Lobotka 6.5. Thought he did okay. Actually 6.5. Okay. Then we go to the front guys. Well, let's go to Traoré. Traoré came on, did well. 6.5 to him as well. I think he occupied a bit more of a number 10 position that I think we needed from one of our midfielders because Cayuste was way too defensive in my mind. Then we have Lindstrom. Lindstrom came on really well, 6.5 as well. Kvara, I'm going to give him a 6.5, not one of his best performances. And I think that's also partly why he got substituted. He did really well with some of his dribbling, but there was shoot, and he just didn't. Osimhen, 7.5. He did extremely well with that goal. Unlucky to be offside a few times in the first half. More of this, please, Osimhen. More of this. Let's get one goal a game. That would be super useful for us. Politano, 6.5. A bit like Kvara, you know, lots of dribbles, lots of good things, but then in the end, didn't ever shoot, didn't assist Osimhen as much. So very much inconclusive the shooting. And I think that's about it, guys, because then the other guys that came on, like Raspadori and everything, didn't really have an impact. Simeone either. Let's give my 6. Guys, that is my player rating. Pretty much that's my analysis of the game. You know, I was at the pub. I don't have any screenshots to show you. But again, I think the biggest talking point is the Rachmani coming out of his line and leaving huge space in between him and between Di Lorenzo and Juan Jesus, which allowed Lewandowski to score. Guys, it's a good result for a guy that came on yesterday, for a manager that came yesterday to get a draw in the Champions League knockout rounds. You take that, and hopefully this team can build in the next 3 weeks, and when it's Barcelona, Napoli, they can show us that they've improved, that they have a bit more of an identity, a bit more structure, and hopefully this game gives them confidence. Maybe with this game we can go ahead and win the next few games. Guys, also huge result in Porto, in Portugal, with Arsenal losing. That's huge for us because you guys know that the top 2 nations will get 5 Champions League spots, and right now Italy is first, Germany second, England third, and so the fact that Arsenal didn't get any points for England and Napoli managed to get at least, you know, a draw against Barcelona means that Italy is still well and truly first in that ranking. If we can get Arsenal to get knocked out, that would be massive. That would almost certainly confirm that we would have the 5 Champions League spots for next season, which makes our life much easier. Guys, this concludes the live. I'm gonna go home. Again, I don't have any, I can't really read much of your comments. I can't, you know, show you any screenshots because I was out at the pub watching the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a bit of a shorter live, but hey, we can walk away with our hopes still intact, and let's see what we can do on the weekend against Cagliari, and let's build some momentum for the game in 3 weeks, which, by the way, I will be at the stadium to watch. Guys, that's everything, and as always, Forza Napoli, sempre. Ciao. How do I close this live? There we go.